today. Everybody's gonna love today, gonna love today. Any way you want to, any way you've got to. Love, love me, love, love me, love, love me.
Being an IHP, I've been really inspired by my peers. Getting to know the ideas and aspirations of 32 other people has been really enlightening. I've learned so much from all of you, and when I grow up, I hope to have a major and to always remember the importance of others' ideas.
Taking a walk in other people's shoes, multiple shoes for 4 months has taught me that I am not really looking at my own environment as closely as I should be. And I feel like when I go back, I'm going to notice everything. I'm going to notice the trash, I'm going to notice the gates, I'm going to notice the opportunities and who they're going through. And I just really thank IHP for sort of taking my blinders off.
Okay, so what I learned on IHP is that our static definitions of things are really on a sliding scale. For instance, corruption in one country isn't necessarily corruption in another country. And I really learned that these definitions and things that we come up with that are city-specific have to be really malleable and specific to whatever city you're in and can't just be implemented somewhere else. I really hope that makes sense.
Before IHP, I thought cities were largely part of the problem, and this was the solution. However, after a semester of understanding how cities help to centralize resources, ideas, and generally planning is actually a huge part of how we can create a more peaceful and just world, I believe that it's not just a rural solution, it's also an urban solution. And I'll keep this in mind in the future when I probably go into urban agriculture.
When we were in Valhalla Park, I met a woman who defined herself by her passion and profession of making dresses. But she didn't have the capital or the access to information to allow that passion to improve her quality of life. So I want to help people like her to help themselves.
My most memorable experience on IHP has just been how I think about trash and how that affects my daily life. For example, in Brazil, my host family had very small trash cans and only 4 of them in the household. And so just having that simple fact of small trash cans really affects how much you consume waste.
What I learned about this semester is that people suck during rush hour. They really, really, really suck, and I really hate people during rush hour. I hate rush hour so much! So when I live in a city, I'm going to try to make sure rush hour is not going to suck for you.
So my aha moment in IHP actually took place in Sao Paulo when we were walking through Parasopolis, and I turned around and I saw a little kid looking out the window at me. And then it dawned on me this whole like idea of a vicious cycle of like people are actually born into poverty and not always having to be like a decision that they made.
There are a lot of beautiful moments in IHP, like when I was in Iguazu Fall, or when I was in Halong Bay hanging out with the friends, or even just meeting with a lot of passionate young entrepreneurs. And there were definitely a lot of struggling moments where I struggled to finish my assignment, or struggling to understand what I was seeing. And in the end, it always comes back to how life is a beautiful struggle. And I think it is important to carry our optimism and carry on to make our future a better place. Yay!
The takeaway point from IHP for me would be the striking differences I saw in Brazil and South Africa especially Morumbi and Parambi versus Paraisópolis. It just shows me like how much inequality there is and like how much I should do as from someone from privilege. So that is what it struck me the most.
The importance of being able to see, looking at the little things and being able to pull out the bigger picture. What can tell you.
Saturday, September 18th, 4:11 p.m. Something curious happened today. Suddenly, on the train home from a rainy, cold, aimless day in Balmortiro, I realized I'm not scared anymore. It's almost like I'm too tired to be constantly worried and too exasperated to worry about not speaking Portuguese and ordering food. I'm not scared to walk down my street anymore. I'm not scared to take time alone. I really do feel like I'm living here. Adaptation, what a concept.
So throughout IHP, the people I've talked to, host parents, guest lecturers, children, they've all really emphasized to me the importance of quality public education, and I really think that there are broader structural problems limiting access to quality public education. I really want to work in education policy and help offer equal access to public education in some city, whether it's one of the cities we've been to, I don't know.
During the HIV/AIDS case study in Cape Town, a woman from Kalisha led us into a very personal part of her life. She told us about her HIV-positive status, how she found out, and how she's living with HIV. All things that she had told nobody besides her close family. Over the semester, we've all found ways to break down barriers and approach people from all parts of the city and various walks of life to hear their stories and opinions. Everyone has something to say. It's just a matter of opening avenues for those thoughts, opinions, facts, and lessons. Done.
For me, actually driving through all the landscapes of Brazil on a bus, from the sprawling mess of Sao Paulo to the rural landless workers movement in the countryside, then to the model city of Curitiba and back again, just really concretized all the history we've been learning. And I realized that for all the complications that'll always mark our history no matter what, if you spend time and invest energy in a place, you can really understand how it got to be the way it is and how some people are in certain social positions and other people are in others.
Prior to going to Joe Slover, we had gone to so many informal settlements before, but I realized once I was there that the most important thing is to never get lost in the story. Each story has its own unique takeaway point, and that's what I'll use for the future.
And the point where we began.
While seeing how all my host state families live and visiting a variety of places, I've realized that environmental consciousness isn't always deliberate and it comes in many forms, but it's important worldwide.
The ones in the forest standing up.
One really important moment for me on this trip was taking a hike in the Cantareira Park in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where we climbed up to this really tall ridge and were able to look out over the entire city of Sao Paulo, which is immense, and just realize how spatially immense it was, and think about all the connections within that city between people, whether they knew each other or not. And the fact that it just instilled a desire in me to, in every city that I'm in, even when I'm inside it, to understand all the connections that are going on there.
I heard this radical statement in Brazil that if you bump into someone on the subway and don't say sorry, it's violence. I've continued to unpack this notion over the course of the semester, and I'm convinced that the future of all cities must be one of non-violence.
On IHP, I learned that sometimes what looks like this is actually more like this.
Some of them get through, but there's better people.
So what has IHP taught me? One thing is to love people, the second one is to study people, and the third one is to be able to put those together and to value everyone.
Human nature keeps spreading its disease.
People are people everywhere. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. There's no excuse for taking things for granted, though.
And the lives that our children will lead.
IHP
IHP is a real bubble bursting experience that opened my eyes to the many faces of the city and helped me reflect on my role as a city dweller and extremely lucky young woman blessed with so many opportunities. City can be a solution.
Come around us, we have everything we need, and I won't care for you.
So IHP has been so amazing because we've actually gotten to know so many different places through so many different people's eyes, and an environment that is so conducive to learning. It's been really great seeing the strengths and weaknesses of all these different places and bring it all home, doing the comparative thing. I like it a lot.
This program focused a lot on the need for sustainability and reinforced my belief that big top-down reform is the only way to get the change we really need. Nevertheless, I have also seen the value of small individual actions and want to live my life without ever owning a car and therefore not contributing to the destructive infrastructure we saw in Detroit and Sao Paulo.
My experience on IHP has helped me realize how important and necessary the goal of sustainability is, but also how complex the processes that surround that goal are. It has also helped clarify for me how much I want to work to make that a reality within my lifetime.
Things ain't been going my way, you know I need.
So participating in the Critical Mass Bike Ride on World Car Free Day in Sao Paulo did three things for me. It made me realize how much I take for granted how easy it is to bike at home, but also it really inspired me to get more involved in bike advocacy both at home and in Vermont. And then it also showed me how even in cities like Sao Paulo that are so car dominated, there are people pushing for change and pushing for bikes. So it was great.
You don't even have to try.
One of the best days I had on IHP was in Cape Town, where I flew a kite for the first time, played in the ocean, saw a firefly, climbed the mountain, saw the sunset and the full moon rise, and ate homemade burgers and custard and flapjacks.
All the best things.
IHP has given me the opportunity to meet some pretty incredible people that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet otherwise.
Come a long way, baby.
On IHP, I've developed a new appreciation for people who work for themselves and are working to take the problems in their lives and turn them into new projects and are doing amazing things.
On IHP, we talk a lot about how much we learn in lectures or on site visits or in homestays, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank my fellow classmates for filling in all those times in between. So thank you guys for all the late night conversations and like afternoons in cafes. I've learned so much from all of you.
Both of us have known love before. Come on, all promising like the spring to walk on out the door. Our hearts are strong and our hearts are kind.